Assalamu alaikum. Welcome my students 10th grade again to your English classes with your teacher Dani Hassan. In this video we're going to have the last lesson in our unit, which is writing. We will work with pages 83 in your student book and pages 72 and 73 in your workbook. Our objectives are: read an email about an accident and learn about the use of adverbs. You need to open your student book, page 83. First of all, we have to read Theo's email, then answer this question: what happened to Nick? So please pause the video, read Theo's email, then try to answer this question. After reading the email, you have to answer that Nick wasn't so lucky. He stopped so quickly that he fell off his bike and hit a wall at the side of the road. He hurt his arm and his back. This is the right answer. In exercise number 2, you have to read the email again, then answer these questions. Where were they? Who was there? What happened to them? What did they do? Finally, what happened in the end? So please pause the video, read the email again, and try to answer these questions. Let's start with the first question. Where were they? We went for a bike ride in the country, so they were in the country. Number 2, who was there? Me, who is Theo, and my brothers, his brothers, Robbie and Nick. Number 3, what happened to them? A dog ran across the road right in front of them. They tried to stop, and Robbie and Theo crashed into each other, but Nick hurt his arm and his back. Number 4, what did they do? We or they called their parents. Number 5, what happened in the end? The parents arrived and took Nick to the hospital. These are the right answers. You can check your answers. Now please move to the useful language box. In this box we have to learn the adverbs, or the use of the adverbs in telling a story. We use adverbs in stories, telling ideas together and to make a story more dramatic and interesting. Like when suddenly a dog ran across the road and we called my parents immediately. Finally, eventually, they arrived. We have to find 4 other adverbs like this in the email. Let's move back to the email. In the first paragraph, we have obviously. Obviously, we tried to stop. We have, in the same paragraph, fortunately, we were okay, but Nick wasn't. The next paragraph is, luckily, we had our mobiles. And we have eventually, or amazingly, he only had a broken wrist. These are the adverbs: obviously, fortunately, luckily, and amazingly. Finally, we have to match these beginnings and the ends of the sentences and join them with an adverb from the box. Let's start with the first one. They walked for a long time, but they arrived at the campsite, so but eventually they arrived at the campsite. Number 2, we saw the wild cats, but they didn't see us, so fortunately they didn't see us. Number 3, James crashed his quad bike into a tree, but He didn't hurt himself, so amazingly, he didn't hurt himself. Number 4, she was crying and obviously upset. Finally, we'd never bought a lottery ticket before, but luckily we won £1,000. Now you have to move quickly to your workbook, page 72. We have another story, so you have to read it, Christine's story, then answer this question. What happened to her? Please pause the video, try to answer this question. After reading Christine's story, you have to answer that a huge branch from a tree had crashed to the ground behind them. So the answer is the branch of a tree almost fell on her and her parents when they went for a walk on a windy day. The next exercise, we have to put the events in the correct order. The first event is Christine and her family went for a walk. Number 2, Christine and her sister walked in front of her parents. We can see that here. My sister and I were walking a little bit ahead of our parents when suddenly we heard a really loud noise. A huge branch from a tree had crashed to the ground behind us. So number 3 is Christine's parents stopped to look at the ducks, because we have here they had stopped to look at the ducks and the branch had missed them. So number 3, Christine's parents stopped to look at the ducks. But number 4, a branch fell off a tree. What about the next event? It's Christine turned around to look for her parents. Number 6, a man came out from under the branch. In this paragraph, we can see that. Just then, we saw a man climbing out from under the leaves. He wasn't hurt because only the lighter part of the branch had fallen on him. So this is number 7. A man came out from number 6. A man came out from under the branch. The last event is the firefighters came to move the branch away. This is the last event. The firefighters came and cut the branch into smaller pieces and move it out of the way. So these are the events in order. Let's move to the next exercise, which is exercise number 3. Read Christine's story again. Circle the correct words. Let's move back. First of all, my sister and I were walking a little bit ahead of our parents when suddenly we heard a really loud noise. A huge branch of a tree had crashed to the ground behind us. Number 2, I immediately or eventually turned around. I couldn't see my parents and obviously or fortunately I thought the branch had fallen on them. I panicked a bit at first, but then I realized that luckily they had stopped to look at the ducks and the branch had missed them. Number 5, just then we saw a man climbing out from under the leaves. Amazingly, he wasn't hurt because, fortunately for him, only the lighter parts of the branch had fallen on him. Eventually, the firefighters came and cut the branch into small pieces and moved it out of the way. In exercise number 5, we have to complete the sentences with adverbs from exercise 3. There are more than one possible answer. Let's start with the first one. Suddenly, everyone stopped what they were doing. Number 2, no one was hurt. It can be fortunately, luckily, and amazingly. So 3 possible answers. Number 3, an ambulance came and took him to hospital. Eventually, you have to complete number 4 and 5. Be careful, in number 5, there are more than one possible answer. Turn the next page, please. Match the sentence beginnings with the sentence endings. Number 1, it all happened so quickly that I couldn't react. Number 2, he was walking so slowly with E that I thought he was hurt. Number 3, she was cycling so fast with B that she couldn't stop. Complete number 4 and 5. Here we have to circle the correct words. They ran quickly and caught the bus. Number 2, we were really lucky or luckily lucky. Number 3, they were cycling around the park when suddenly it started raining. You have to complete the rest as the same way. The next question, here we have to complete the sentences with could have and the correct form of the verbs in the box. Number 1, it could have been much worse. Number 2, he himself badly but was okay, so he could have hurt himself badly. Number 3, she could have lost everything she had that day. Complete number 4 and 5. In exercise number 8, you have to read Christine's story. In exercise number 1, again, them. Tick the information she includes. The first one, background information. We can see the background information here. It was really windy. My dad said because it was Sunday we should go for a walk and so on. The next information is descriptive adjectives. We have many descriptive adjectives like less windy, really loud, a huge branch, and you can find other descriptive adjectives. Next information, adverbs. Yes, of course, it or she includes adverbs like suddenly, immediately, eventually, fortunately. Next information, a variety of past tenses. Yes, she includes variety of past sentence. We have past simple and past perfect. Here, past perfect had stopped. I couldn't. Past simple, or a tree had crashed is also past perfect. Next one, what happened in the end? Yes, she includes, or she said, what happened in the end, that the firefighters came and cut the branch into small pieces. Next one, what people said. Yes, the story includes what people said in the last paragraph. It could have been a lot worse. That man was so lucky, or he could have been killed by that branch. So the story includes all these pieces of information. Now it's your turn. You're going to write a story that ends with the sentence, it could have been much worse. So use the items in exercise 8 and make notes. So you have to write your own story, but you have to end the story with this sentence. Then check your writing by answer these questions. That's all in our class, my students. See you next time. Goodbye.